All right, hello everybody. Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here on this Monday evening. Hopefully you're doing well. Wanted to hop on and just kind of walk through the forecast for tomorrow. The reason being, we have beneficial rain, our most promising rain chances in several weeks in the forecast for tomorrow. I think many areas could exceed a ½ inch to an inch of rainfall, but also a day where it's not a big severe weather risk. In fact, for the Austin area and the Hill Country, not super worried about severe weather, but where southeast of Austin, can't completely rule out a storm capable of some gusty winds, maybe an isolated tornado, and also the concern for a little bit of minor flooding for tomorrow. But the main takeaway is we finally have beneficial rain in the forecast. So we are up and streaming on all of our platforms. If you're watching on Facebook, you can leave a comment if you have questions or anything. We'll go through the forecast, then we'll take care of any questions for you. Looks like Renee is watching in Sun City. Again, hopefully everybody had a good weekend and had a great Monday. Okay, so we'll start with the headlines. Again, widespread rain is going to move in late tonight into tomorrow morning. The two caveats to this beneficial rain is we have low-end potential for a severe storm or two. That's mainly southeast of Austin. In fact, it's mainly over Fayette County. And also the potential for some minor flooding, and that's going to be along and east of the I-35 corridor. So with that being said, let's get into the maps, and want to point something out right off the bat. It's pretty chilly outside. Does this feel like a severe weather day or a severe weather setup? Probably not. It's 53 in Austin right now, Bastrop 51 all the way down to LaGrange. It's in the low 50s right now. And temperatures tonight will drop down into the 40s. Yet to see anything pop up on the radar. You probably noticed that increase in cloud cover coming out of the southwest through this afternoon, so it's a really cold morning. In fact, most areas outside of Austin did see a freeze. Many were in the 20s, but then that sunshine gave way to increase in cloud cover out ahead of our next system. So here it is, big upper level low, which is crossing from Arizona into New Mexico. This is going to push a cold front into our area tomorrow, and this is all kind of the cause for the stormy weather. Now, we are not talking about snow at our forecast, okay, so I don't want anybody to get concerned about this. But this is a very dynamic storm system from parts of North Texas into the Texas Panhandle. These are winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings, where, believe it or not, there could be accumulating snow, especially up there between Amarillo and Lubbock. On the bottom side of this system, though, and again, this is just classic Texas, in the warm sector, we have the potential for strong to severe storms for tomorrow. Here locally, again, are we watching it? Yes, we are. But the brunt of the severe weather issues right now, all indications are that's going to be southeast of here on the mid and upper Texas coast. So from Victoria to Galveston now, that is the enhanced risk. That's the level 3 out of 5. So that's pretty serious business down there. But for us, you know, I-10 corridor, it's that level 2 slight risk. But most of Fayette County is under the marginal. It's the lowest level, level 1 out of 5. And that kind of clips parts of southern Lee County, southern Bastrop County, and eastern Caldwell County. So those are going to be the areas that we're watching. Also wanted to show you the tornado outlook, get you zoomed in a little bit closer. Again, the brunt of it at least does not include any part of our area, but this yellow shading here, that is the 10% area for tornadoes. In the hatching there, that means there's potential for strong or significant tornadoes that could be EF2 or higher, and that includes Victoria and Seadrift and Bay City over to Galveston. So for parts of the state, this is likely going to be a pretty active severe weather day, but for us, we're just kind of on the edge of this. So gusty winds, an isolated tornado, we can't completely rule it out for Fayette County southeast of Austin, but we're not expecting that here in the KVUE area at least. We're going to have to contend with the brunt of this system. Okay, so here's 10 o'clock this evening, about an hour from now, still pretty quiet. We go past midnight, now we start to see rain move in. So as we plan your day tomorrow, in the morning, 7 a.m., heading into work, dropping the kids off at school, whatever you're doing early, there's likely pretty widespread light to moderate rain, but I don't see a ton of heavy stuff at this point as we wait on the kind of meat of the system to get closer to us. Now, mid to late morning, here's 11 a.m., starting to see this up in intensity a little bit. So now we have some embedded downpours, some embedded storms as we go into the midday hour. So let's keep going. And this is brand new data, by the way, from our high-res model. 12:30. This kind of back line of stormy weather crossing over the I-35 corridor and into areas to the east. Now, look at the temperatures here. It's in the 40s across the hill country. Austin is still in the low 50s, so for most of the day, this is a pretty chilly rain that's moving through. Again, you walk outside and it's 53. That doesn't exactly scream, hey, I wonder if we're going to have severe weather today. However, look at LaGrange and Luling. It's a little closer to 60. So that's where some of that warmer, more unstable air is trying to work in southeast of Austin, and that's where the bigger storm threat and the bigger severe weather issues are going to be. So Bastrop County, Lee County, Fayette County, by 1 to 2, here's 1:30, we could have a line of strong to possibly severe storms. But as these are kind of intensifying and ramping up, they're moving out. So again, we don't get the brunt of it. By the time we get into 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we have cooler, drier air moving in. Now it's going to be very breezy, but we're not worried about severe weather at that point. So here's the flood outlook, and we got an update to this today. It did increase for parts of Fayette, southern Lee, eastern Bastrop County to the level 2. That's the slight risk for flooding. But for most of us, it's the marginal level 1 out of 5. And, you know, it's kind of the price of doing business this time of the year. We know we need the rain. When you get a lot of rain, you know, there can be a minor flooding concern. So I'm not super worried about it, but I am especially watching Fayette County. And here's why. Latest rainfall projections are showing a pretty widespread ½ inch to 1 inch. That is not going to cause any flooding issues. That is just what the doctor ordered, especially southwest of Austin where we have top level drought. Now you see some of those purples and reds showing up. That's where 1 to 3 inches or more will be possible, mainly southeast of Austin. And again, that's nothing too much. We'll take the rain right there. But there could be some minor flooding issues. We're talking ponding on roads, maybe a couple of low water crossings that get a bit problematic. I'm not looking for major issues, but some localized street flooding. We can't rule that out. Now behind the system, we get some cooler air that is going to wrap in. Low temperature forecast, 37 Wednesday morning, Thursday morning 34, Friday morning 33. And again, that's in town for the Camp Mabry sensor, which runs warm. So I think we'll have several, 2 to 3 mornings there with a light freeze pretty widespread, especially across the hill country. Here's the 7-day forecast for you. Once we get the storms out of here by Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looking drier, cooler. And then want to give you an early heads up around the weekend. I kind of hate to do this, but we have some kind of broad brush 20% rain chances for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Models are still not in good agreement, but we likely have at least some sort of rain chance coming in for the weekend into early next week with our next system. But hey, if we can get a couple of systems coming through here without big severe weather risks and just giving us some beneficial rain, we will take that given how dry we have been here over the past several months. Christina tuning in from Kyle, hello. Alex tuning in from Pflugerville. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Not seeing a ton of questions, but again, if you have any questions on the forecast, we'll go over this a few more times as people kind of come and go in the chat here. If you have any questions, fire away. We'll try and get this answered for you. And I see our digital team in the comments here. They have provided a link to our web article. We have it freshly updated now, the latest model data. If you just like to look at the pictures and stuff, that's in there and a write-up on the forecast as well. Faye, thank you. We appreciate it. Ian is watching from Needles, California. What's going on in California right now? Adelia is watching in San Marcos. Good evening to you. Alex, I work for a moving company, so that will impact me in Cedar Park. I hope you don't have any jobs early in the day tomorrow. It's going to be rough moving weather. Kristen, my parents are driving from Houston to Austin tomorrow. What time do you think would be the best time to leave? Okay, great question. What I'm going to do, let's go into our model. I'm going to show you kind of the statewide picture, and that will give you a better idea for your parents who may be traveling or just whatever you have planned across the state. And then we'll also be able to illustrate, some of the winter weather potential going on here. All right, so here we go. We'll get this queued up for everybody. Okay, so let's kind of scrub forward through this evening. Again, you see the system coming in, and we get rain and storms that start to develop. So trying to drive from Houston to Austin. Honestly, earlier in the day, if you left really early in the morning, you might be able to get there before the storms. If not, it might be better to just wait for the afternoon. Let me show you when the storms move out of here. So here's 8 a.m. We go into the late morning, we start to get this line of storms to form, so definitely don't want to be driving through that in the early afternoon. But again, look at this up across the Panhandle, Lubbock and Amarillo and Abilene and places like that, getting snow, maybe even heavy in some spots. Now, for the Houston area, so if you're trying to go Houston to Austin, let's wait for the second half of the day now that I'm looking at this. For the Houston area, about 4 or 5, the storms are out of there and they'll be moving out of southeast Texas. So my recommendation to you and to your parents would be to wait for the second half of the day. Might not be great traffic wise, but that will have you avoiding the worst of the weather. This is just going to be dry and breezy through the evening as cooler stuff moves in. So 5:30, 7, even getting close to parts of the DFW area, the Metroplex, some of that mixed precipitation coming in. And then as we keep going, the system's going to move out. We'll have cooler, drier air that is moving in. 46 and clear in California. That sounds nice. Okay, we'll go through this one more time. I know people in the Facebook chat and the YouTube chat and on our KVUE Plus app kind of come and go. So we'll go through the forecast one more time, and then we'll leave you here. And of course, we have our full newscast coming up at 10 o'clock. Also have the written blog, which is pinned in the comments here if you're someone who likes, prefers to just kind of read through it, see the images, read through at your own pace. We have that linked in the comments as well, and we'll keep that updated for you. Staffing-wise, we of course have meteorologist Shane Hinton, who will be in tomorrow morning. We'll have all the latest model data, latest information for you during the daybreak shows. We have Grace Thornton, our newest meteorologist, who will be doing the midday show, and then Shane and I will be sticking around too. So we're not anticipating big severe weather issues, but if anything gets going tomorrow, we'll have the KVUE weather team on top of it, and we'll keep you posted. Okay, let's go through this one more time. These are the headlines for you. Again, the biggest thing here is we have beneficial widespread rain in the forecast. Our best rain chances in quite some time, but there is low end potential for a severe storm or two. Not so much for the Austin area or for the Hill Country, but southeast of Austin, the potential is at least there for a stronger severe storm capable of gusty winds or even an isolated tornado. Then also the potential for some minor flooding along and east of I-35. We don't see big issues with that. We need the rain, but if you start getting 3-4 inches plus of rain at a time, then you could run into some of those minor issues. Right now, it is cool. So you walk outside this evening, it under no circumstance feels like, hey, I bet we have severe weather in the forecast. And again, we think this is going to be one of the limiting factors, and that's why it's down closer to the coast where the severe weather issues are going to be, while we are kind of right in that middle area hoping just for beneficial rain. It's 53 in Austin right now. We'll be down in the mid-40s by tomorrow morning as the rain moves in. For now, no rain, just clouds that are moving in from the southwest. But here is the system, at least the upper level part of it, which is spinning away out west. That's going to push our Pacific cold front in here as we get into tomorrow. On the northern edge of things, we have winter weather alerts for parts of North Texas and especially the Texas Panhandle, including winter storm warnings from Lubbock up towards Amarillo, where it could be several inches of accumulating snow. And then on the south side of things, in the warmer sector of the storm, we have severe weather potential, including now an increasing enhanced risk. That is the level 3 out of 5 for Victoria over towards Galveston, south of Houston. Houston's in the level 2, and that level 2 goes kind of right along the I-10 corridor into Fayette County, and then the rest of Fayette County is in that margin of 1 out of 5. In fact, let's get in a little bit closer on this. Austin and the Hill Country, not expecting big issues, but if you live in LaGrange, I'm going to throw Giddings in here too. Lee County is technically not in this. I do think southern Lee County could at least have a strong storm. LaGrange, down towards the Luling area, Flatonia, anywhere right along the I-10 corridor, we are watching that potential at least for some strong storms. We're just kind of on the edge of this. Now, from Victoria over to Galveston, the tornado risk continues to increase as well. This yellow shading, that is a 10% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point. And that includes places like Bay City, and Bryan Beach, and Galveston, and Seadrift, and Victoria, but it does not include any part of our area. So can I completely rule out a spin-up tornado tomorrow for Fayette County? No, but we don't expect the brunt of the issues to be in our area. And that is because just the way that the environmental setup is going, we're going to be cool and pretty stable for most of us. Let me show you what I mean here. So this is 7 a.m. Look at the temperatures. It is 47 in Austin. Again, it's chilly. It's 42 in Mason. We have light showers, mainly light to moderate stuff early in the day, but then the brunt of the system, the core of it at least, gets closer to us as we get mid to late morning. So by 11 a.m. now we're going to start to have some pockets of heavier rain, some embedded downpours in there, and it's a little bit warmer, but still we're cool. It is 52 in Austin. It's still in the 40s in the Hill Country. But look at Luling and LaGrange. Okay, so it is 57 in Luling. It's 57 in LaGrange. Let's keep going. By 12:30, it's close to 60. Austin's still in the low 50s. It's still in the 40s into the hill country. So most of us are still stable. We have heavy rain, maybe a strong storm, but unless you can get that warmer air, the higher humidity, the bigger instability in, then you're not going to have huge issues with severe weather. But we do think that right along the I-10 corridor from Luling to LaGrange over Fayette County, even around the Bastrop area, what this model is showing at 12:30, into Lee County, Giddings, Dimebox, here's 1:30. LaGrange could have a line of storms that's developing and moving out, but right as it's intensifying, again, it's moving away from us into those better parameters to the southeast, and then we just have cooler but pretty breezy weather through the rest of the afternoon. Keep going through the evening. Any lingering showers will come to an end. Be in the 30s across the hill country already by 11 o'clock, and then widespread 30s, including a light freeze for the hill country by Wednesday morning. So flood potential here, hill country. We're not worried about it. Half inch to an inch of rain can handle that just fine. In fact, we wish it'd be a little bit more out there where they really need it. I-35 corridor, marginal risk for flooding. That is the lowest end threat. And then in the yellow here, that's the level 2, where again, it's a little bit of a higher threat, if you will, but still not something we're super worried about. From Giddings to LaGrange to Schulenburg, along the I-10 corridor, into parts of Bastrop County, where there's a slightly higher risk for some minor flooding. And again, this is why our models continue to show that that's the corridor where there could be some 1 to 3 inch totals, maybe some 3 to 4 inch plus totals, and that's where you start getting into minor flooding territory. But otherwise, a widespread half inch to an inch and a half of rain, that is well deserved. We've been looking for this for quite some time. Low temperature forecast. Some cold stuff behind it, especially in the mornings. 37 Wednesday morning, a light freeze for some outside of the city. Then Thursday and Friday are two coldest mornings. It may end up staying just above freezing, at least in the city at Camp Mabry. But I do see a pretty widespread freeze for the suburbs and, especially areas outside of the city for both of those 2 mornings. Here's our 7-day forecast. So we'll spend several afternoons in the 50s, 56 tomorrow afternoon, 57 Wednesday, Thursday 56. But then we start to rebound a little bit as we get into the weekend, and we also introduce some rain chances. I've gone kind of broad brush 20% for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The models are not in great agreement. It's not necessarily going to be a rain chance on all 3 of those days, but we'll have to kind of iron that out as our next cold front comes in. And we hope that that gives us some more beneficial rain and hopefully not any opportunity for severe storms. Okay, I think that will have us covered. Again, we have on KVUE.com and on our KVUE app, we have the full blog updated. It has it's a timeline blog, so we have kind of hour by hour snapshots of what the models are showing. We have the breakdown, and of course Shane will be in tomorrow morning. He'll get the latest information in there for you. We'll have the forecast during our daybreak show, and then meteorologist Grace Thornton will be in for midday with an update, and then as needed through the rest of the afternoon, we will keep you covered as we have some rain coming in. Again, hopefully it's just beneficial rainfall, and I think for the most part that's what we'll get, but just one of those days we need to at least be kind of aware of what's going on, especially southeast of Austin. Just can't rule out a strong storm flaring up for a bit, or maybe a little bit of minor flooding, but we are appreciative for sure for this beneficial rain. Okay, we will let you go. Again, about an hour from now, KVUE News at 10 o'clock. We'll have the full update, and Quid and Brian will have you updated with the news. Y'all have a good evening. Have a good